Good morning, everybody. This is Pamela Parrish checking in on our Keeping It Real podcast. I hope you all are having a superific day. Um, I'm just sitting here kind of looking into the Sara Boon case over the last couple days. And we're going to be talking about Donald Trump also. I'm your host, Pamela Parrish. Stuck here on a semi-rainy day in Columbus, Ohio. I hope you all are having a good day. But we are going to be talking about Sara Boon, the suitcase killer, and Donald John Trump. Now, I may have to step out and go to the bathroom, but we're going to do this, okay? The case for Sara Boon has almost wrapped up today. They did their closing arguments and all that. And by 1:30 this afternoon, jury will start deliberating for Sara's fate, whether she gets a lot of time in jail or a short stint in prison. We don't know yet. But the judge says that they'll be working into the night to try and get this resolved, and that Sara gets her payment for what she did to George Torres. For those of you that don't know, Sara Boon was the alcoholic woman who locked her boyfriend in a suitcase. She claims that they were playing hide and seek, a stupid kids game, in the apartment. She wanted to go inside. She says they were doing painting and puzzles all day, and then they wanted to end the night with hide and seek. But in truth, she locked him in that suitcase and taunted him and claimed, "For everything you've done to me, for everything you've done to me." And he kept saying, "Sara, Sara, I can't breathe." You know, and sometimes when he would say, "Sara, Sara," and she would say, "That's my name, don't wear it out." She knowingly left that guy in the suitcase for over 10 hours, leaving him to die, to suffocate to death. And she says, "Oh, I went upstairs and went to bed." But she was drunk. She stood there while he was struggling to get out. He wanted out, but he couldn't get out. And he wound up dying because of that. She didn't go down to check on him. She didn't do anything. She claims she went upstairs and passed out in bed. But over the course of the trial, over the last week or so, bombshell evidence has come out from phone footage that was not released publicly by Law and Crime. We didn't get to see any of the newer footage until the trial. And some of the things that she's done and said is absolutely deplorable. You know, Sara would often shift blame to George Torres, or Jorge, as he was called in court. She would often shift blame to her boyfriend. But some of the video that I've seen shows a broken man sitting on the floor while she's filming him. And she would tell him, "Oh, you can't go see this person." You know? He probably couldn't go back to Philadelphia unless she was with him. So, yeah. To me, after seeing all the evidence, Sara looked like a big-time control freak. You know, and again, she tried to say that George beat her and did all these things to her, but in truth, I think she was the instigator in that relationship. Sara Boon has a narcissist problem. She don't have no mental deficiencies. She claims she excels at everything. Does that sound familiar like another person that we're going to be talking about today? I excel at everything. I'm the best at everything. No, she's not. The only thing she ever succeeded at is being a bully. She often sat on her ass, getting drunk and blitzed, and she didn't even really take care of her son. Oftentimes, the ex husband would have to go over to her apartment and pick her son up because neighbors have stated that both of them were drunk. Although I think Jorge's version of events, through her camera lens, paint George in a very different light. Oftentimes, when men are in an abusive relationship, they're often seen as the stronger of the two, you know? Men are stronger than women, is how they're seen. But oftentimes, women can abuse men too. And it's so sad. Because if you look at video of Torres sitting on the floor and she's standing over him like in fear, okay? She stands over him to make him afraid. If you go back and look at some of the video, I have it in the Sara Boon suitcase playlist. I think you should watch all that video that I have so far. I'm going to wait and see what they do on the deliberation front and how long it's going to take. But I'm going to do a backstory on this case, and in the future, I'm going to find and put together any evidence that I could find. And people are wanting, there are some kooks out there that want Sara freed. You know, they say justice for Sara and all this shit. There is no justice for Sara. She did it to herself. She has a massive drinking problem. She doesn't accept fucking responsibility, and she never will accept her responsibility. She failed her son, and she failed Jorge. You know, Jorge is George in Spanish. Not only did she abuse this man, but she showed her racist colors, just like Donald Trump, talking about Mexicans in a slang. And all those videos she had on her phone were found on her electronic equipment. All that shit was found on her electronic equipment. And they used the bombshell evidence in court. The stuff that wasn't released publicly, like the interrogation footage, which is on my TV now. The interrogation footage was released publicly for Law and Crime and other people who do the true crime stuff. But the bombshell evidence was saved for the courtroom. And you know what? I'm glad they did. Because it keeps most jurors out of the loop into what really happened behind closed doors. And the ones I feel sorry for are not only Jorge, but I feel sorry for the former husband of Sara Boon and that little boy. That young man who is now going to be 14 years old has to live with the fact that his mother somehow coerced her boyfriend, who she claimed to love in the interrogation video. But on one video where she was shooting video at the house, she told this man, "I hate you. Stay away from me." And yet she stood right there and kept filming him. I think she used the cops to try and get him arrested falsely. You know, and George was probably thinking, I should take the heat for her because she's got a son. He's right nearby. She takes him to school when she's not drunk. And he often took the heat for her bullshit. Went to jail. Went to anger management classes for her. That's what I believe actually happened. And I hope the jury enjoys their lunch. They're going to be back in session about 1:30 today. I hope you all will tune in for that. I'm thinking about going out and getting me some chili and cornbread and have a nice lunch. because I am hungry. Um, but her son is going to have to live with the fact that his mother stuffed her boyfriend into a suitcase. He probably got in out of fear that he was going to get hurt. I believe she inflicts her own injuries on herself to make him look like the guilty one. But, because he had kids up in another state and he was working in Florida. What was Sara doing all day? Sitting around on her ass, getting drunk, and not taking full responsibility for her son. Her ex husband paid for the apartment just so that she and Lucas would have a roof over their head. And it's sad that a young man in his 40s was snuffed out like a candle like that. I said, she's a lot like Donald Trump and a guy named Michael Dunn, a total narcissist who doesn't accept any accountability for their actions. I can only hope that the jury does the right thing and gives her some real hard fucking time. She needs that. She's a danger to society. I call her the Black Widow. Even though they weren't officially married, he was talking about marrying this woman. She claims to love him in the interviews. I have it on TV. Go to Law and Crime. You can look it up. You can go to my playlist. You can look at all that shit. You can watch the whole trial. Take the time, watch it. And be sure to tune in for the deliberations today. Some of the evidence that they unloaded in court is pretty powerful. She was not only demonizing to George, or Jorge as they call him, she was also very brutal and mean to his family. She would say the most terrible things to his family. And I'm not going to repeat that here. She is the instigator in that relationship. And it's sad because most men are too afraid to call in to do the report about the abuse. Most abused men take the heat for their abusive lover or girlfriend. And even when they were talking to her in the interview room, she asked about the ring she gave to George. She goes, I don't get that back. And the officer's like, no, that goes to the next of kin. That is his family, his mother, his father, any siblings he had, cousins, uncles, aunts. It goes to them. And she claims it wasn't malicious the way he died. I'd say it is. Because oftentimes abusive people will take the heat for their abuser. And that's exactly what happened here. Jorge wanted to be happy, but he was never able to be happy. He couldn't play his music without setting Sara off. He couldn't talk about anything without setting Sara off. I think she is the full-blown instigator. She is what I call a massive control freak. When things don't go her way, she collects injustices. She is an injustice collector that has never learned a fucking thing in her life. From what I heard from some of the neighbors' testimonies, they were often drunk. I think he drank because he was miserable. Sure, he went to work. He did his responsibilities. He has kids of his own. He doesn't have to pay for anything Lucas needs. He probably did it because he cared about the kid. But now this guy is dead. He'll never see his kids again. He'll never go home to Pennsylvania again. And she was telling him who he could see, who he could not see. That's what I mean by a total control freak. I've been there. I've been there myself. Former classmates that I was trying to date at the time started telling me who I can hang out with and who I can't hang out with, and who I can tell and who I can't tell. When they start doing that, it's time to get out. But oftentimes, if you're in deep into a relationship, it's very hard for a person to get out. Again, it's like a power dynamic that most people see in general society. They see women as the weaker sex, not the man. And people are calling Mr. Torres a weak man because he couldn't get out of the situation that he was in. Oftentimes, it's hard on either side to get out of a bad situation. And my heart bleeds for Mr. Torres because he'll never see his kids again. He'll never have a future. Who knows what would have happened if he had lived? But, his family had genuine fears about him being killed. And yet she's the one shifting all the blame on everybody else but herself. She would say, "Oh, his family thinks I'm the white devil." Well, honey, after what you did to Mr. Torres, you are the white devil. You're the one that forced him into the suitcase. He probably did it out of fear so he wouldn't get hurt. And I think part of your problem is, Miss Boon, is that you were often drunk. You were probably the one that ran into walls and split your lip and did this and did that. You probably stabbed yourself in the leg to make it look like he did it. But you're going to have to live with the fact that you did kill a man and you're going to do some time in prison. You should do time in prison. You're a danger to society. You're a danger to your son. You're a danger to your entire fucking family. I bet your mom's proud of you. Not. You claim you excel at everything, but the only thing you excelled at was killing an innocent man. Sure, he wasn't perfect, but in any video that I've seen, he has never tried to lay a hand on you. He took the heat for you so you wouldn't leave your kid. That's a mark of a man. But he gave up his life because you didn't want him seeing people. You didn't want him doing anything that could make him happy. Whether it's playing music or having movie trailers on as background noise. You don't want none of that. You want him to be as miserable as you. And I could see why he was drunk, sitting on the floor outside of her bedroom. And she said, "I should be in bed. It's 1:30 in the morning." She goes, "What were you doing at my door?" He says, "I wanted to be in bed with you." Somehow or another, he still loved this woman. But now he's in an early grave, and a young son is traumatized by the fact that his mother forced that guy into a suitcase and he suffocated to death. So, yeah, Sara Boon should get some hard time. Well, I think for the moment, I'm going to walk out here and go to the bathroom, and I'll come right back. I'll turn this camera over to what I'm watching. I know it's not very good, but it is the Sara Boon case. I'll turn the sound up, and you can hear some of it. So give me a minute. I'm going to run to the bathroom, and I'll be right back. So let me get the TV remote, and I'll turn up the questioning, and you can hear it. Ugh. Are you still going to allow us to do your fingernails? Go for it. Go for it. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to get that set up. Do you need any more water? No, but when you come back, can I ask about this? Yeah. Let's go back here. So you'd have something to listen to while I'm in the bathroom. I went back to the beginning so you could see some of the interrogations, or hear some of the interrogations. I'll be right back. Should be coming on any minute now. They're just showing the interior of a dark interrogation room while they're getting her there.
not busy tomorrow? Are you here tomorrow? You want to just check out my directs and put them on my desk? Okay. If you get a minute, just on the top. Okay. Thank you. I'll come by. Good. Have a good day. Have a good time.
Okay, forget it. All right, I'm coming back. I'm sorry. Just had to go to the bathroom. Okay. Just want to say fuck that. Turn the sound down so I can do my business. Okay. Now that I'm back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Sara Boon. And I'm thinking about playing the interrogation to my speakers here. The video that you were trying to watch through was on long crime trials. I paused it. It's over 2 hours long. But I think I'll play that at the end of this video and let it run for 2 hours so you guys could see what we had witnessed. Maybe in the future I will call that up and we'll use that in a video talking more about the Sara Boon case. As I've said, I don't have the bells and whistles that most users use to do these type of videos. I'm sorry, I'm on a limited income. It's kind of hard to do when you're not being paid to do this. And I don't want to be paid to do stories like this. People like Sara Boon that are narcissistic, that don't accept responsibility for things they do, should never be out in free society. You know, I could think of at least 3 people: Sara Boon, Michael Dunn, and Donald Trump, that are so narcissistic and so full of themselves. Or as I like to say, they are so full of themselves and they're always full of shit, they'll never accept responsibility for anything. They should be up in jail for the rest of their natural born lives. You know, and now we're going to get into Donald Trump and his recent falls from MAGA grace, believe it or not. People are leaving his rallies like they're the plague. And a lot of the Republicans are now seeing what we've seen in the last 4 to 6 years. So, yeah. Let me see here. Yahoo News. We'll go there while we're here. And if you want to look for any of these articles, go to Yahoo News. Let's see what we got here. Okay, go to news. Come on. Okay, we're not going to do that. I want to go to news. Sorry about that, but Yahoo has totally changed their thing. They go on here to talk about how to make sure your mail-in election ballot gets counted. Let's go there. Because before I get into Donald Trump, something happened in Arizona where a ballot box got burned. Um, it's really scary that there are people that want Trump to be in power to the point of burning a ballot box. Let's see. Your mail in election ballot could be rejected. How to make sure it gets counted. And this is off of Yahoo News. And it says from mailbox fires to missing signatures. Here's a look at what could go wrong with your mail in ballot this election. And we are under 2 weeks until Election Day. Early voting in person and by mail is underway. Data from the University of Florida's election lab found that of October 24th, 15 million of the 63 million ballot requests have been sent in. But in some states, they are dealing with setbacks beyond voters' control. States like North Carolina, which was hit by back-to-back hurricanes, have had to deal with accessibility issues as well as delayed absentee ballots after a court ordered a last-minute removal of independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name in Florida. A couple of the runners in this year's election have been removed from the rolls or from the election papers. In fact, if you get a mail-in election ballot, they give you a little paper stating who dropped out and who is no longer in the running. Again, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was taken off. In Georgia, a new law has decreased the amount of time voters would have to request absentees and an imposed stricter ID requirement. On Thursday, investigators arrested a suspect accused of setting fire to a UPS mailbox in Phoenix, Arizona. And of those ballots, 20 were damaged. Again, Georgia has a new law that has limited the amount of time voters would have to request their absentee ballots and has imposed a stricter ID requirement. On Thursday, investigators arrested a suspect accused of setting fire to a United States Postal Service mailbox in Phoenix, damaging around 20 ballots. What do Americans have to be aware of when it comes to avoiding an issue with the mail-in ballots? We break down everything you need to know to make sure your absentee vote still counts. Why wouldn't my vote-in mail count? Mail-in vote count. It's not common for a mail-in ballot to be rejected. In a report in the 2020 election, the U.S. Election Committee found that 98.8% of mail-in ballots were counted and 0.8% were rejected. Ballots that had missing or unverified signatures or arrived too late were among the most common reasons to be rejected. According to the same 2020 election report, nearly a third of them rejected mail ballots were rejected because there was a non-matching signature, and an additional 12% were rejected because the signature was missing entirely. So, in other words, they could dismiss your ballot without a legible signature, or it doesn't match, or it's missing. And it says, the National Conference of State Legislatures explains that election officials has a specific process to examine and validate every signature on mail-in ballots. However, 10 states are not required to verify those signatures, and they are Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Maryland, Nebraska, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, Vermont, Virginia, and Wyoming. 31 states do require a mail-in ballot signature verification, and election officials normally compare the signatures with other documents signed by the voter. Typically passed election ballots or other information linked to voter registration. Alabama, Kentucky, South Dakota and Wisconsin require voters to send copies of their IDs with their ballots. After signing in their mail-in ballot, voters in Alabama, Alaska, Louisiana, Minnesota, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Wisconsin must also get a witness's signature. Alabama and North Carolina require 2 witness signatures or a notary's signature. Mississippi, Missouri, and Oklahoma require the ballot envelope to be notarized. MIT's Election Data and Science Lab analyzed mail-in ballots from 2020 election and found that some were rejected because the ballot envelope was unsealed. The voter was ineligible to vote by mail, and UPS, the United States Postal Service, delays. And they go on to ask, why are officials so strict about signatures? In most states, voters have to show some form of physical ID when casting their ballot in person. In other states, an ID is not required, so voters can instead sign their ballots, and election workers will compare that to previous voting records. It's the same for mail-in voting. The signatures are a way to identify voter identity without needing a physical ID. And it goes on to say, the Brennan Center for Justice, an independent law and policy organization, explains signatures are so important on mail-in ballots because they can help prevent issues like election deniers and ballot manipulation. It also ensures military personnel, their aid workers, and Americans living overseas have a secure way of voting too. Ballots that are returned by mail or dropped off at a designated area must be processed by an election worker. One report read, processing generally involves confirming the identity and authenticity of the voter, verifying the voter's information to confirm that they are registered and eligible to vote, and checking the signature on the ballot envelope against the signature on file. See here. Will my state notify me if my ballot gets rejected? In some states, they offer the voters a chance to cure mail-in ballot mistakes. This could mean fixing ballot mistakes, like adding a signature and sending them back in time to be counted. However, not every state requires election officials to notify voters if there's an issue, or offer an opportunity for voters to correct that mistake. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Connecticut, Delaware, Idaho, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming's ballots with missing or mismatched signatures are not counted. Only 2/3 of Pennsylvania's counties notify by mail voters. And there's a state Supreme Court case currently pending to make the requirement statewide. Pennsylvania's Supreme Court also ruled to allow those whose mail-in ballots were rejected to vote provisionally. A provisional ballot is used when a voter's name doesn't appear on the in-person voter registration list at the polling place. So if their name doesn't appear on the in-person voter registration list at the polling place, these ballots are placed in a separate envelope rather than a ballot box. Then the voters listed is checked later to make sure they're registered. If they are, the provisional vote counts. Every state has been required to offer provisional ballots since 2002. And it says you could check your state's notification process at the National Conference of State Legislatures website. And the question is, can I fix my rejected mail-in ballot and still get it to count? What voters can do to correct their mistakes on a mail-in ballot varies by each state, and not all states allow voters to fix it. The following states are somewhat more flexible and allow voters time even after election day to resolve the issue and still have that vote count: Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Illinois, Indiana, Maryland, Nevada, North Dakota, Ohio, Oregon, Rhode Island, Texas, Virginia, and Washington. And they say you could check your state's ballot correction deadline at the National Conference of State Legislatures website. And another question they ask in the article here: can I decide to vote in person after requesting a mail-in ballot? Voters who initially replied for an absentee mail-in ballot are allowed to change their mind, although election officials recommend that voters stick to their original plan. So if you want to vote by mail, you should vote by mail. You have the right to change your mind, but in order to make it easier on the vote counters, they want you to stick with your original plan. And they ask the big question: what happens if said ballot gets destroyed? If a voter suspects that their ballot was damaged in transit, like in the rare case in Arizona, the voter can check the delivery status of the ballot on their county's voting, regardless of what state you live in. Tampering with political or election mail is a federal crime. Voters with missing and damaged ballots can request new ones, although they should be aware of the deadlines set by their respective states. In Arizona, voters would have to request it by the end of the day on October 25th. You can track your ballot or your ballot application, regardless of what state or country you live in, on vote.org. So yeah, my advice to those that are voting in the election this year: if you don't trust the ballot box, take it directly to your local post office. Make sure it gets stamped and dropped where it needs to go. Whatever they do to these ballots when you get it to the post office, make sure they do their jobs. I heard about the fire in the Arizona ballot box, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, something's bound to happen. Things like this do happen, but with Trump, it's magnified a million times over. Again, I know this video is a bit long-winded, and I'm sorry about that. But, with a person like Trump, you have to be on your guard all the time. You have to make sure that your vote gets counted. Make sure you mail it out. Like me, I vote from home. One, I have a hard time getting out of my house. Two, it's a safety issue. I make sure that my brother takes my vote to the post office, even though he knows I'm voting for who I'm voting for. But I told him yesterday, I told my twin brother this yesterday: your boy Trump don't look so good, and he doesn't seem to be doing so good. People are leaving his rallies right and left. But hey, you vote for who the fuck you want to vote for. But when I hear about people setting fire to a ballot box, shows that they don't want democracy. They want a dictatorship. That's what I am trying to not have happen here. Get out there and vote. If you have your absentee ballot, get it in. Take it into the post office. They can mail it to you. Be sure you follow all the checks and balances that they have on those ballots. Make sure your vote counts. Our future depends on it. And again, Trump is another narcissist. He thinks he's doing great. He calls Kamala lazy. Yet he's been canceling events right and left. He refuses to debate her. He refuses to do this. And yet, Kamala's biggest asset is Trump's own words. She talks about the issues that are important to this country, but she also shows the base that is watching her rallies. She knows Trumpers are watching her rallies. And they use his own words against him to not only talk about what's going on in our country, but she also uses it to educate the Trumpers about what they're really dealing with here. And a lot of the Republicans and Trump supporters are abandoning him like he's got the plague or something. But again, Donald Trump is not the kind of guy to accept responsibility. He would rather see innocent women die in a hospital setting. He would rather rationalize Adolf Hitler to forward his own ill-gotten gains. And speaking of that, Donald Trump, the self-proclaimed narcissist, is a Adolf Hitler wannabe. He is a Putin wannabe. He is a Kim Jong-un wannabe. The only thing missing is that Donald Trump is not Asian. Donald Trump doesn't have the funny little haircut and mustache to be Adolf Hitler. We are only talking about our future here. We should have the right to be able to go out and vote without fear of getting our ballots burned or our bodies beat up. Donald Trump doesn't want that. He wants to be a full-blown dictator. He has said that himself. When people were thinking he was joking, he says, "No, I want to be a dictator on day one. You're not going to take away my rights as a woman. You're not going to take away my rights as a person." People were saying the GOP are getting what they wanted. They wanted women to die. They want to take away our rights to vote, our rights to elect a president. They want to do away with that. They want to do away with the Constitution. They want to erase it like it never even existed. That's what narcissists do. They are only thinking about themselves. Trump saying, once I get into office, I should be able to stay in office and commit any crime I want. That's what this is all about. And some of the things he's done is very unconstitutional. They talked about a judge overturning the abortion ban. I forget where, but people are claiming it is unconstitutional. And what hurts me is that I live in the state of Ohio. I heard about a 10-year-old that was raped, and she wound up getting pregnant. But she could not get the baby terminated because in my state, it would be illegal for her to go to the clinic to have it done. So she had to go to another state to have it done. It's embarrassing and it's shameful. And that young girl's life has changed irreparably forever. She probably thinks it's her fault, but it isn't. A scumbag is a scumbag is a scumbag. She didn't ask to get pregnant at 10 years old. At that time, you're still thinking about your dolls and your friends and Saturday morning if you had a Saturday morning cartoons. But Donald Trump is another guy that will never accept responsibility for any of the bad stuff that he does. He should be in the same prison as Michael Dunn. Sara Boon should be in the same prison as Michael Dunn. Michael Dunn was the guy who killed a teenager at a Gate gas station in Florida, of all places. And they got his ass real good in the courts. They talked about his phone calls from prison, and his girlfriend, Rhonda Rower, was so nervous she was physically shaking when she took the stand to talk about her experience. Because she was inside that gas station getting wine and chips to take back to the hotel where they were staying with their puppy. And when he made the phone calls from jail, he says, it's better to be in here than out in society with the animals. All kinds of weird shit. Still killed a young man that loved both of his parents very much. They shared equal time. Even though the parents got divorced, they had equal custody. And he wanted to spend Thanksgiving with his dad. So he went out to do Black Friday shopping, see his girlfriend, get something to drink or whatever they were going to get at the gate gas station, and then possibly go home. But that young man died in the back of that car. If his two friends had been shot the same way, they too would have been dead. But Michael Dunn had to go through another trial just to get justice for Jordan. Now, two friends are going to go through the rest of their lives without their friend Jordan. But then again, people like Michael Dunn and Donald Trump and Sarah Boon, they will never ever see past the end of their nose. They think they're right all the time and everybody else is wrong. Well, that's not how the world works. You do something wrong, you do the crime, you pay your fine. And I hope Sarah Boon gets a lot of time in prison. And I hope Donald Trump is not elected. Our future depends on it. And to close this out, I want to put a message out there, Sarah, you could have taken that plea deal. You would have been out in maybe 5 to 15 years. But your videos showed the true you. Just like the true videos of Trump spouting his bullshit exposed him for who he really is. A cold, unfeeling SOB who only cares about one thing, himself. Sarah Boon is the same way. She only cares about herself. She doesn't care about her son and what effect this will have on him. She wanted special treatment during the course of the trial. She didn't get it. No snacks. She drug it out for 4 years. But now, at 1:30 today, the jury will be seated and sequestered. They're going to deliberate, and hopefully, within today or over the course of the weekend, we might get some answers. Will she spend a lot of time in jail? Will she not? That's all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. And for those of you that don't know about Miss Sarah Boon and her actions, I got the video of the interrogation of Sarah Boon up on my TV. It's paused. I'll have to upgrade or pull up the video. But if you want to sit for 2 hours and listen to that, I give you the opportunity to. I want you to hear what she did. And I will be working on a video. If I find the footage, I will put it together in a comprehensive video so you could see the video of Mr. Torres and the dynamics between him and Sarah. And to me, she seems like the ultimate aggressor in that situation. So I'm going to go into stealth mode for a little while. I'm going to share the interrogation video for 2 hours and 4 minutes and 10 seconds. And then I'll find where they read the hot text messages between Sarah and members of Jorge's family. It needs to be heard. It needs to be talked about. Should this woman, if you want to call her that, be allowed out in everyday society? To me, I say, no. She should do a lot of time. She's not even 40 yet, or 50 yet. So she was born in 77, so she's not quite 50 yet. She should get the rest of her life in prison. It's kind of like what they did to the Australian cannibal, Mary Knight. Put her butt in jail and write on Sarah's file, never to be released. Because she's dangerous, not only to her family, but to everybody around her. But Sarah, I'm going to say this to you. You're a lazy, no account drunk that went nowhere with your so called intelligence. You think you're smarter than everybody in the room. You're not. You did a stupid thing by forcing Jorge to get into that suitcase. He probably didn't want to get hurt by you. You drug him down those stairs and you left him sitting in that suitcase. And he suffocated to death. And if you think that I think that you did 911, the CPR stuff, no, I don't think you did. You just sat there and you counted. Like you're going to play the fool with the emergency services. Yeah, I'm doing CPR. There's no short, she's not huffing and puffing. It's just sad. And like the police said, George is still dead. He's not coming back, and he never will come back because of your stupid tomfoolery. But I'm going to play the sound of Sarah Boon's interrogation here in just a second. I know the first time I tried that, I didn't know that they showed mostly a darkened room before she came in the room. But I'm hoping to do a more comprehensive video that makes more sense and you could see everything that people in court have seen. So, yeah. I just watched all the highlights because I know if I sat and watched the whole trial, my blood pressure would be up in the stratosphere, up toward the moon, up into another galaxy as far as I know. So let me get this set up. We're going to turn up the sound and you guys can hear it for yourself. Again, Law and Crime Trials uploaded this video 2 weeks ago. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. But now it's in the jury's hands and they will have to decide whether she gets a ton of time in prison or very little time in prison. But if I were on that jury and I saw all that, I know the real you, Sarah. You're a mean bully who was trying to control her so-called boyfriend/fiance to the point where he couldn't see anybody. He couldn't be happy. He probably drank when he was there because you made him miserable. And if you went out, he had to go with you. So, yeah. And men, if you're being abused by your partner and you see those signs, please report. Because Mr. Torres was probably too scared to report. Because oftentimes men are seen as the stronger sex. But yeah, it's just terrible. Like I said, she belittled him. She belittled his family and said nasty things to them in a text message. I would be like, call me, woman. Would you tell that to me over the phone? Would you tell that to me over the phone instead of a freaking text message? She is what you know, a cowardly keyboard warrior. She could get on a text message and say all that shit, but she wouldn't dare call George's family and say that. But as I said, video and audio doesn't lie. I saw a man that was broken, so beaten down that he didn't have the strength to fight back. And when he did want to get out of that suitcase, she just left him there to die. Well, I'll let you guys listen to the interrogation and then I'll cut it off. So sit back, grab some popcorn, grab your favorite cereal. I don't care. Grab a couple Cokes and just sit and relax. because I'm waiting to see what the jury will bring at the end of all this, because they're going into deliberations this afternoon. Since I don't have a clock in here anymore, I got to pull up my computer. It is now 11:39 a.m. The jurors will be back in court at 1:30. So, yeah. 1:30 p.m. The jurors will be in deliberations. So, keep an eye out for that. Okay, let's get the sound up and you can listen to some of the interrogation for yourself from my point of view. So, I'll turn the camera so you'll know what we're working with. And if you see things change to where I can find the actual text messages, I'll play that too while I'm on here. Because the guy in the court actually read some of the texts, and it's very damning if you want to know the truth. The judge didn't take any shit from the defense part of it, because I think he knows. Sara knew what she was doing. And one of the text messages said, I'll get rid of him. So, yeah. So let's get on with this, and you guys can hear it for yourself. And if you have any comments or questions when this is over, you can leave them below in the video. I'm going into stealth mode. So let me get over here and make sure that we get this set up so we can hear it together. And all her not intentionals is not being wasted on me. We know it was intentional. It took a lot of video from your phone to convince us who you really are. A cold, calculating, manipulating bitch. Just like Donald Trump. Here we go.
Just let us know about any time you need more, okay? And how you fit the green chair and it doesn't move. Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask you about the room. We have a moment.
Sure. So obviously, he received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that. And since I'm talking about the incident, we just have to do it, just like we did yesterday. Just like we did yesterday. Remember I read you the rights? Your rights? Yeah. So it's the exact same thing, but since I'm asking you follow-up questions, I need to read them to you, okay?
Sure.
All right. So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during questioning without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one can be provided for you before questioning without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
And do you understand what I just read you?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So this morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So so he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know that's wrong.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So like basically you're getting hit and then you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising. Like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little.
I haven't laid a hand on him.
Okay.
Also too, he fell off my son's bike,
Okay.
so I don't know. And he's notorious for running into the wall or the haltering. So
Okay. What about the scratches? Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on the back of his neck, kind of going, but it's going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
And they're all recent. They occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, We have not gotten into it.
Okay.
That's why, like, the only thing I thought you guys were gonna ask me about, which I was gonna be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over the house too, so.
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh, gosh.
Am I understanding he was there like last Tuesday?
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week, so.
Well, we're talking about Sunday.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because like I said, the injuries they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You called us yesterday at 1, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and then
That's
into
why
Monday.
I'm thoroughly confused, because we had a good time sitting on the back porch, having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes, and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play, and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. Like, I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, like on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on like his head, his skull,
I have no idea.
as if something hit him.
I
Consider
have not
force
touched him.
trauma.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
How would you get those injuries?
Tony and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No,
Okay. Are you willing to let us
absolutely.
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't want to seem out of sorts, but I have no idea. We had a good day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good day. We've had good days lately, even considering everything that's going on with our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything. It's been good. Like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
Yeah,
I don't
I think the
even know.
last physical was probably, you said, I think, what, a month ago? Where you got the injury, right? You said that was a
I'll
month
say a few
ago?
weeks, give or take, yeah.
A few weeks. That was the last, like, physical altercation between the two of you? You said a month ago you hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with a turnaround. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Huh.
Like, we've been good. I don't know if, like, it's since the last time he got out of jail. Like, we've been good, and he's been having his classes and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So,
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
the probation officer,
Oh, no, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me. So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. And I don't know if you talked to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So.
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so.
Give or take.
Right, so what do you mean by he comes after you, like?
He gets belligerently drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures and the videos that I have taken.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
So you all will see in my pictures, bloody fingers, split foreheads, he split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, really, really bad, where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it. And then poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
So it's,
Then why are you still with him?
everybody asks me that. When I tell you guys this, I really love him, like I do. And I feel like I can help him. Like, I feel like I could help him, which I did, because he came a really long way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and to dealing with everything else that he's been dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
I've really helped him. I've bailed him out of jail, 3 times. I've gone to every single hearing and every single arraignment, everything that I did for him. gone to see all his public defenders, go to the state, I've gone to the state. I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him, because I had hope in him. And he was trying. He was really trying. Just, and then he starts to think about things, and it just, I think he gets overwhelmed, and then it's like, next thing you know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is gonna go, so I'm gonna go upstairs and read a book, or I'm gonna go for a bike ride, or I'm gonna do something else, where I don't wanna drink. I don't wanna drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself, where I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that. So he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink. And every time, his job broke his heart. And it made me sad because he had so much pride in his job. And the store that he took care of so much totally went downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And that broke his heart because he had put so much work and effort into fixing it up. And his manager was awful and basically gave up on all of the employees. So I think that had a huge bearing on why he would drink so much. His ex-wife is bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
She was all over him all the time. Send me money, send me money, send me money. How can I send you money when I don't have a job? And he's still trying to take care of me and Lucas by paying a bill here or there, getting some groceries. So he always had something on his mind, which is why, again, I got the puzzles and the bank to try to get him off of it so we don't have a drink, or he doesn't have a drink. So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my television because he's belligerently drunk. Where most of the time, I just don't want to be there. And I try to help him. I try to calm him down.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, he just passes out.
Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you told me on recording, like, that you were not drunk, he was not drunk, you guys were having a good time.
I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-complimentous, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just saying, you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics.
I'm not.
We are not, you know. But you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and
no.
It got physical?
No.
Or is it?
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He's dancing with my dog. You can see that too on the pictures, him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy kind of thing. He doesn't know, I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you, like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did he have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left
Yeah, not
over.
as much.
Mm-hmm. And then that you had wine. Well, I don't even know how the wine. How'd you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix.
Does he like leave the house and you stay home, or do you go to Publix? Like, cause I knew.
I'll go with him.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to
No.
Publix?
So most of the time what happens is, because the convenience store where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it.
Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll start, go by Publix, and then on the way back, catch the convenience store.
Okay.
So
Is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did, because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
Okay.
So that's,
Okay.
it's him trying to be nice, so I don't have to go out and do it. Plus, there's stuff that around the house that I have to take care of. So that's usually what will happen. Or I'm folding laundry and he'll go run out and do whatever.
So where were you guys at
Hmm.
on drunkenness, not drunkenness on Sunday?
I
You told us you weren't drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. So with him, I don't know. I know when it's like, oh, okay, man, where I have told him, slow down. It's starting to catch up with you. Slow down. Slow down. And another thing too is I don't like listening to music with him because he gets too involved in the music, and the music that he listens to is a little rough around the edges, and like just, it makes me fractious listening to his music. So I kept asking him, let's just you and me talk. You and me will just be the ones that are talking, which was fine, because I mean, we were playing with a dog, whatever, and then it's like, okay, now let's do the painting. We just did the puzzle, took a break, now let's do this. Sure enough, sat down, we're sitting in there talking, laughing, talking about new movies, we're watching movie trailers while we're doing painting and all that other stuff. So it's still background noise to him, because I think that's what he's used to, is having background noise. Where me, I can sit in here all day with not a peep. But he always has to have some kind of background noise, which I didn't mind because the trailers were cool. And he was interested in showing them to me, getting excited about movies that were out or upcoming.
Okay.
So,
On your laptop you're talking about?
Mhm.
Okay.
and I mean, and then it was.
But you said it was a good day, like, you guys didn't have any conversations about your relationship, you guys didn't go down, like, the rabbit hole, like, had too many to drink, and you guys start getting...
No, when I tell you this, it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say with just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through, because...
I'm talking about the money, jobs,
Daughters, yes.
nothing
No.
relationship-wise, though, like, no issues, like, did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about...
Just
Like,
what's
distraction.
going on right now.
Got it.
I try to evoke it from him so he gets it off his chest, because I call him the volcano, where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right.
And what he has learned in his classes is to communicate,
Mhm.
which is a huge thing in a relationship, where
Right.
he has been practicing communication. So he actually talks to me about things and unburdens himself. Put it on me. I'll sit there and try and figure it out for you. Like, I have almost everything.
Mhm.
Not a worry. Just tell me. Get it out of you.
Right.
But it was, when I tell you, I was so happy. Like, it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside. I'm the one that had him go inside so we can do puzzles and painting and listen to music or whatever else he wants to do. So then he starts doing whatever it is we're doing together in the living room, and then starts talking, because I think he gets comfortable with, okay, you know what? We're here. It is a good day. Let me go ahead and explain myself. So I know. Nobody else knows, but I know. Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I missed him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and
I never stopped.
trying to...
I never stopped. That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah, we just don't, I mean, it's unexplainable how he got these injuries, and
I have no idea.
you were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
Okay. You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos, kind of like a proof and just in general.
Yeah, I started documenting at one point, but that was way before, I think the last time that he got arrested, where he was flying off the deep end. But then I had him bailed out, I got him out of jail.
Right.
But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go see your probation officer. You have to go to these classes. It's court ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Where it took him a while to get used to it and understand, they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which I say she's wonderful. That's one of my questions to him to talk to you about. Hugged me and said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally one time when George was at work, when he was working. 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me. And she knows how hard I'm working to help him, just as she is and just as the classes will. So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation officer and then to his substance abuse class and his, I don't know what BIP stands for, Matters Intervention Program, and actually listening to what it is everyone had to say, he changed. Like I could see a change in him, where before lashing out, he would think about it. And would always come home and show me his papers, and we would look over his papers together, where it's like, wow, you actually are learning this in class? And some of the stuff that they would show them, like videos, he would come home and be like, Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. Because for a video that he watches to make him feel that way, where it's like, oh man, I have done her wrong. But he's changed. He changed.
And that's why you're still with him, even though he's done all these things to you. And
when I tell you I love him, I love him.
And when you love somebody, you have limits.
Everybody tells me that. All my neighbors don't tell me that. The office, property manager.
At some point, somebody gets enough, then they have to do something to defend themselves.
I would just flee. And I don't know if you would like to see it on my phone, or I think it's actually on a laptop. I actually, because, and you have to understand too, I have, like, prior to classes in PO, kicked him out. How many times? I had him arrested. How many times?
But you also went down and that was
I know.
the next day.
I know.
what's on your laptop?
What was I going to tell you? Oh, previously, I actually looked up how to file a restraining order.
Okay.
Because I would take him out, his parents, because of them constantly having to take him back in, his bags of clothes, all his stuff. The last time, the father came out and irate and just not even, I don't even know if he knew Lucas was in the car. Just opened the back of my car and just started throwing all his crap and just throwing it. Like the car would jostle, he was throwing all his stuff. At that point, because I continually did it, not continually, I think I maybe did it 3 times, and he has nowhere else to go, they got fed up and said, nope, either you're staying there or you're staying here. But if you're staying here at their place, it's permanent. You're not going back over there anymore. So what happens is, he pursues me. So I don't know if y'all know where Katie Way Trail is. Okay, so it's literally right there from our apartment. Would ride his bike to work, but before he would leave extra early and come up to the wall, stand on top of his bike and poke his head over because he would know that I would be outside having my morning cigarette and cup of coffee. And I would also know too what time he would get off of work, where I would know, come getting off of work, he's gonna do the same thing. So it's not like I ever got like a break from him, where I told you all yesterday or whatever it was. I started to feel that it was too much togetherness. And when you've had too much togetherness, friction happens. So I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to go upstairs and read a book. But every waking moment he wants to be with me. So, and mind you, our townhome is either upstairs or downstairs. So it's like, if you would like to sit downstairs and watch a movie or play on the laptop, look up some jobs, you're more than welcome to. I'm just gonna be upstairs maybe watching one of my shows or maybe reading a book. So, and then when that would happen, we really needed that. So what's for dinner? And then we would cook together and eat dinner and then crawl in the bed and watch a movie.
You're talking about this is like recent, aren't you kind of like lost me? Like when, what are you?
It was a while, like a little while ago.
But now you're talking about tension building up and that you need space. So have you been feeling that way lately or?
No.
Okay.
No. My thing is too, so you all know, I hate that you can't talk to her, but Dee, his ex-wife, when I say a monster, she's a monster. Like she withholds their children from speaking to him. So he gets upset about that, and then she like completely berates him about money, about the father that he is, what he did to her, all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, mind you, this is not like been recent, but which is why he didn't even bother calling anymore, because he knows that she's going to answer and he's going to have to talk to her, so therefore he can't talk to his daughter. The other time he talked to her, made her talk to Cookie. That's on my cell phone too, so you can see it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
What does she have to do though with anything about what happened Sunday and into Monday? Like,
No, I'm just saying, like, previously,
Okay.
why the incidents, what happened is she plays a big part in it.
okay.
On top
top.
of job
Yeah.
and money and groceries and all that.
Okay.
Sunday, when I tell you this, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is there anybody else at the house?
It was just me and him.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember any like timelines better? Like what time you guys were playing? What time he was zipped up in the luggage? What time you
I
went
told you-
upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then,
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious if you remember.
but when we were outside, that's where we would start
Mhm.
and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside. So we.
About what time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking.
And you said you went up to bed around
Midnight.
midnight,
Ish.
fell asleep around 12:30-ish, but those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight, so there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or
Like when we started to play, hide and seek.
yeah.
Well, we went inside probably about, if I had to guess, we weren't out there too long, maybe about 6-ish. Then.
I'm talking about from hanging out outside and like,
Mhm.
okay,
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there and
right,
just enjoy the weather.
gotcha.
Plus it's starting to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it. Started to paint. Well, started listening to music for a little bit. Started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Started at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs, and then he didn't come up, and you came down, and the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship?
Mm-hmm.
When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there,
Yes.
and it was in play because.
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
Well,
I mean, we were playing
no, I know,
that
but
time, but
I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so.
The suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore. I'm tired of looking at them. So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not? But obviously, I understand, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter. You were laughing, he was laughing. But what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something that you guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we have a townhome where it's upstairs or downstairs. So.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday? No.
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected, you have the password, he has the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password?
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I did. Yes, it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's your phone. Okay, how does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get into it because it's password protected?
So he'll come and get it to me and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes too, like but he'll joke with me and say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking or something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition. No, he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm assuming other than.
Well, Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday, right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I guess maybe I took a picture of them, the two of Tess and
the dogs.
And George and them dancing, but I mean, it's just Tess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
Can you move it around? Go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's real fast.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay.
Let me.
The battery doesn't last very long.
Yeah, it used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right. No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked and.
No.
Okay, why did you say it like that? Like.
I don't think you all understand who I am. Where.
Okay. Well, tell me.
I've always been a straight A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son. I excel at everything. I would not do that.
You wouldn't lock somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
Okay. No, it's just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Why?
We just want you to watch this. It came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please. Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
Mm-mm.
I don't know how much I can take.
I don't know how to find her.
As I said, she's a dumb bitch.
Do I have to watch this?
You do.
I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah, we're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No, that's-
For everything you done to me. For everything you done to me. Fuck you.
And it's
Fuck
just,
you.
that's you, your voice.
Excuse me. Sara. That's my name. Don't wear it up. Sara, I'm not going to wait there. Sara. Yes, that's when you do it. You shook me. Sara. Sara.
I don't want to watch it, please.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, he had two fingers hanging out. and you
I
went
flipped
to
him over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
There's two different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping into different positions and him saying that he can't breathe, and you saying it's
So
fuck
this
you.
is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal,
Yeah.
like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image is upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now, he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep,
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah,
but not intentional.
No, you told me you went upstairs because
What?
you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stops here.
Okay, but
where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
And his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no hole, there's no fingers, I don't see his fingers, there's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the
I
other video.
understand. I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end, it sounds kind of like a,
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
what does fuck you mean to you?
Well,
Like if I were to tell my
like he
partner.
does. Like, I get called everything but a white woman, so
Okay,
my intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking that he could get himself
Yes.
out, but the video shows,
That's what I
at no
told
point
you.
did I see his fingers.
He'll
And
be out here any minute.
And then 30 minutes later, he didn't show.
and he's telling you
And I
he
did
can't
my
breathe.
job.
Do you think
Not
he's
able to get out.
joking? You told me he was laughing, and
We were
the
before.
video, there's no
When we first
laughing.
got in there, both of us
So
were.
how long was he in there for? Like, this video is at 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to
No.
recording this?
No. No.
So it goes from funny to no longer funny,
But
and
I
you're the
didn't,
only one laughing.
but I didn't think that he was, like, panicky. Like,
So pushing up on a suitcase saying, Sarah, 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 I can't breathe.
George has done that in the past before too, where it's just like, he thinks that he's woe is me kind of thing, where it's like, I don't.
He's never been locked in a suitcase, that's how he couldn't get out, so.
It's kind of, I thought it was
And
the
you know
boy
the oxygen.
crying wolf kind of thing.
Okay.
And again, my plan.
But nowhere in there is he laughing, is he joking, he is begging. And you're the only one laughing,
Okay.
and you're the only one saying derogatory comments, like you're mad.
No, please don't, I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but like, it's like you guys are kind of trying to like feed me, like.
No, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what you said.
Well, I know what.
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
No.
Why don't you remember making the video?
Probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
Just because I went upstairs and, just
You
because
told
you're
us-
drunk doesn't mean that
told us
you.
times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
Mhm.
You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and a video and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
Okay, I understand where y'all are coming from.
Well,
I
we're
get
just
it.
trying to make sense of it. We're trying to
I get it.
figure out what
We're
you're
trying to
saying.
figure out this
You
video.
explain it to us. We're listening.
I just did, like, we were playing, and then, like, I thought it was, my plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep. My plan was not to, he'll be up here any minute.
But you
Yeah.
willingly went upstairs and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
was
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase,
So why didn't you take him out?
because I went upstairs, and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think he's asking to come out? He
I
can't
didn't do it
breathe.
intentionally.
What do you think is gonna happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not giving it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the
And what was your
suitcase,
plan?
waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he didn't?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him, maybe I shouldn't.
No.
When you, that didn't cross your mind because it didn't happen.
That's like an assumption, like that's what you all are thinking, just,
We're asking.
it's the
You
whole,
tell us.
it's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought it was like, I thought he was okay, like I didn't, that, you
He's
all,
telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
guys, that's how we are with each other. Like he has, nobody understands our relationship. This whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a
No.
joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And you
I
love
wouldn't do
George.
that to him either. I wouldn't do that to him.
So I just,
Well, it's not like, again, I don't think you all understand, like, it's not my, that was not my
She said that,
intention.
so this isn't funny.
Well,
Y'all don't have any idea what
by
I've
your
done for
acts,
him.
but by your acts, and that's exactly right. You get to the point where you've done so much for somebody and they don't show
No.
you any appreciation,
He did.
not by your words in the video. I don't get that.
He did.
Because you bring up the fact that when he's choking you, you can't breathe. That's how you felt when he cheated on you, you couldn't breathe. And you verbally several times told him, just fuck you.
when you
Well,
said it in the
you said
video, but you won't let us play the rest of it. You don't
And
want
you-
When
to.
I say cheating, it's on his phone.
Okay. Cheating is cheating.
I
And
think
if
so
you-
too.
Exactly.
It's your definition of cheating though, so, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what the word cheat means.
And that's what you told him in the video. That I couldn't breathe when you cheated on me.
No.
That's how I felt when he said, Sarah, I can't breathe. And you told him,
I don't
fuck
know
you.
what this is
What would you say if somebody told you that they had done this?
the one.
Zip somebody in a suitcase and went up and went to bed.
Do y'all not think So you all think that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm gonna go to sleep? Is that what you guys are trying to assume? Or trying to like,
The video is very portraying of the opposite of what you told us.
no?
It is not leading up, it is not matching what statement you gave us in the car.
So,
And that's why we wanna know,
and I don't remember
injury-
doing those.
the injuries are not consistent with what you told us. So we have a lot of inconsistencies, and this video explains itself. It really truly does.
You don't think that I had thought about that?
Thought about the video or thought
But
about,
no, again, if you don't mind, please. So you all are assuming that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm gonna go to sleep? Is that what you all are assuming?
well, it's not an assumption when that's what you told us that
That's
happened.
what happened.
And the video,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna say,
you thought he could
So,
get out on his
yes.
but the video shows that he cannot get out on his own.
but when I unzipped it with one finger,
From the outside.
but it had the hole in it.
And you're claiming that it had a paper clip, so that's what assisted you in doing it.
No.
That's what you told us.
When I had my sweatshirt, I said I thought it had a paper clip on it. It's
But
got,
the zipper part is broken, that,
yes, which is why we were gonna zip it.
Yeah.
I just,
You were able to unzip it from the outside very easily, because that's the way they're designed.
but you could on the inside too. I don't know
so
how,
why wouldn't he have gotten himself out if he could?
I don't know, like, I don't know if you saw, like, where the hole was. I don't
I
know.
didn't see a hole.
No
I
one
didn't see
sees
no
the hole.
fingers
You're the
sticking
only
out.
one that's what I'm saying, like, he's in one position, and where his head would be, we should be able to see fingers. And then when it's flipped over onto this right side, again, his head is closer to us facing the video, so we should be able to see fingers, and we don't see anything. We see no movement of him trying to unzip it or physically unzipping it. All we see is pushing up, trying to push out of it.
Please do not assume.
I'm not assuming. I haven't assumed anything. I follow evidence.
But my intention was not, again, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm just gonna go to sleep.
What do you think someone that knows nothing about this or hears just a little bit like, oh, they were playing around in a suitcase
She's been
and then
drinking,
watches
probably
that
went
video?
to sleep. That's what happened.
But you let him out before, I mean, you put him in, so why didn't you take him out?
Because I was upstairs and I fell asleep.
No, before you went upstairs. You like consciously had to walk upstairs. You obviously remember going to bed because you were able to give me a time frame on that. And you specifically told me that you went
I don't-
upstairs.
My intention is not for this to happen. I am sick about it. I've never done anything like this before in the past. I'm sick, especially with that. I thought I couldn't sleep last night. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. You tell us the last night, you vividly remember this when you told us last night, that he was laughing, you were laughing, you put him in the suitcase, he has two fingers sticking out, and you go to bed. Now we see something totally different, and it actually shows you upset, and again, using derogatory terms to him when he's begging for his life to get out of that suitcase.
So,
So
But
what
my thing
you
is
say
that
we're
this is a-
assuming, we're not assuming,
but
we're
the
telling
thing
you
is,
what's on there.
so it just happened to be that whenever I was videotaping or doing whatever else it was, just happened to not have that in it.
Okay. And you also in the video, you can't see any holes. There's nowhere in that where the zipper separates and you can see a hole. If there's a hole, he's pushing on it, begging you to get out. We should probably see that hole. that
He
you're
essentially
talking
would have
about.
been able to get out. Based
Alcohol,
off what you're telling us, he should have been able to get out.
Okay.
But the video shows him attempting to get out, begging to get out, and he can't. So that's just what we're trying to figure out. I don't know if maybe you had too much to drink, you zipped it up all the way, and then,
I did not zip it up all the way.
Okay, well,
I did not zip it up all the way. This is horrific, okay? Horrific.
it is terrible.
Yeah, so there's-
Horrific. I don't think I'll ever be right because of this, ever be right. Dealing with everything else that I have in my life, personally, and then this,
Okay.
whom I loved, It was not intentional. I will put my hand on the Bible. It was not intentional. I would not do that to him nor anyone else.
But you did.
Not intentional.
You intentionally went up to bed.
I didn't
Intentionally
intentionally
left
go to
him.
bed because I'm thinking, okay,
Hold
good,
on,
he can
hold
get
on.
out.
How did you not intentionally go to bed? You said you went upstairs and got into bed. That's intentionally going to bed.
Waiting for him.
And he doesn't come, but you don't go down to check on him.
So I happen to go to sleep. When I say go to sleep,
What do you
goes
normally
off,
do when you
what
go
are
to
we gonna
bed?
do?
What do you normally do when you go to bed?
What do you mean?
What is a bed for? Going to sleep.
Right.
So you go to
But
bed to
obviously
do
you can
what?
tell too that, like, I'm
You go to
thinking
bed to do
also.
what? Okay. You kept telling us, hey, I wasn't intoxicated. I wasn't this, I wasn't that.
Being drunk and intoxicated, which, yes, you can tell that I had been drinking, but
Okay. So if you weren't intoxicated, then why would you ever leave somebody in a suitcase that's begging to get out, that's telling you they can't breathe?
if I hadn't been drinking, you still think it would be the same thing? Where it's like, hop in, I'm gonna go to sleep. Is that what you all are trying to do? To
We're
portray
not trying
it?
to do anything. I'm simply asking you to explain to me what happened.
Everything was fine and dandy.
I don't want to call
Everything.
it fine and dandy.
Was fine and dandy.
Explain
You
to me.
also, okay, for me to tell you this, again, mind you, I've been without him for a day now.
Mhm.
I don't know, I mean, I don't know what you all want me to tell you, because this was not in any way, shape, or form, hand on the Bible, intentional.
Okay. So you just left
I
him there
didn't
to
kill
teach
him.
You left him there to teach him a lesson?
I didn't mean to leave him there. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You got up and walked away. How is that not intentionally leaving him there?
Because I'm looking at the hole, knowing that it's there. He'll get out no harm. Because you
And
don't,
then he doesn't,
but
but you don't go check on him. You say you're up for 30 minutes and he doesn't come up. You don't go down and check on him?
I'm in the bed.
You even moved,
It
I
goes
mean,
up.
you admit to moving the suitcase, like, over,
You
so
roll it.
you roll it out, like, it's not like,
I didn't want it to be like that. Don't,
you didn't want him to be upside down, how do you even get upside down?
right. You guys are killing me right now.
I just want you to hear.
That's how he talks to me most of the time. I don't know how you want me to say it.
I'm just trying to figure out what you would expect to happen to somebody when you leave them in a suitcase.
I didn't mean to leave him in there.
Okay.
What's your reasoning for, not calling 911 sooner?
Because I didn't know what to do and how horrific it was. I called Brian, and like, what, 5 minutes later, I called you guys? Not even 5 minutes. Nonetheless, that I had to I was trying to do CPR. I had to get him out and try to do CPR, and then called you guys. And I was continually doing CPR with the dispatch on the phone, where he had me count out loud to help me focus on what I was doing.
It just, I don't know how, I mean, you can sit here all day long and say, I thought he was gonna get himself out, but that he didn't, and you went upstairs, and you stayed there for 30 minutes before you fell asleep.
But can I say too,
You chose not to ever at any point during that 30 minutes walk back down and check on him.
no, wait 1 second, because I know, with you all, and then, because you continually ask me, time frames, where I told you, I don't bother even looking at the clock most of the time. So it's a guesstimate. So for all I know, maybe it was 10 minutes.
Okay. But the point is, you left the living room where he was begging for help and went upstairs. Regardless of how long you were there, you left. You say,
I thought he was the boy calling wolf. Again.
Okay.
So when he asked to be let out, like, what's your reasoning for not letting him out?
When I was upstairs,
No, when he's asking on the video, he asked multiple times. He asked to be let out. I can't breathe. What? Like, why didn't you let him out?
well, number one, I had no idea it was going to end like that.
Okay.
Number one.
Okay.
Number two, just, you know what? I'll give you 5 minutes or so in there. They'll give you 5 minutes or so.
5 minutes for what?
Well, based off the video, one video is at 11:12 and the next one's at 11:23. So you actually gave him at least 11 minutes per video recording. So my thing is, when it stopped, he asked multiple times. I mean, why? Why did you not let him out? It's just a simple question.
To be honest with you, I mean,
Were you punishing him?
no, just,
Well, that's what you're saying in the video.
This is what you got. This is what you make me feel like.
see, and then it's all backfired on me. Like, it's all backfired on me. And I understand the
She's
severity
so
of it.
stupid, she doesn't see what you
Yeah.
did.
It's awful, I know.
Okay.
It's awful. And I will tell you both this right now too. I will never drink alcohol again.
Not where you're going.
Like, I will never drink alcohol again. I don't care what it is in any way, shape, or form.
But let's get back to this. What was the reason for leaving him when he's begging to be let out? I don't understand that.
What I have a feeling was, and again, it's the whole time frame thing. You all.
I'm not asking a time frame. I don't care about a time frame. He's
So-
in the bag saying, I can't.
My God.
And you say, fuck you.
When he, so like, for like the whole few minutes that he was in there, like
Minimum 11. But yes, go ahead. It's a few. 11. Minimum.
For one video.
Well, in between the two videos, which were
Between the
11
two
minutes.
videos. Okay.
Yeah. So,
so what's the question again?
When he's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe, let me out, and you say, fuck you, why don't you just let him out? What are you trying to prove to him? There's obviously something in your head that you were thinking of when he was asking to be let out, and you're like, no.
Again, it's the boy calling wolf.
Okay, but where does this game end? You say this is a game, you got something in
Obviously,
there.
like the wrong way.
So what was your intention for putting him in there?
And it's not fair. It is not fair. You guys are trying to, again, he's in there. Night, night.
That's what happened.
No,
That's absolutely what happened.
intentionally.
How's it not? You got up off the couch, walked up a flight of stairs, and got in your bed.
Thinking he was going to get out.
And he didn't, and you still didn't go down and
And
check
it's the
on him.
whole 30-minute thing that you guys are trying
I
to
don't care
do,
about
whatever. It's like, for all I know,
He's
it's
begging
10
for
minutes.
his life. He's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't. I didn't intentionally mean for this to happen.
But you
Then what
can't
did you
tell us
intend?
why you left him in there and went upstairs. That's my only issue. Like, what am I supposed to write? What do I write?
So my thing is, though, it's what I have a feeling is I went upstairs and just hit the bed, kind of thing.
Okay, I'm going to go to a video. Sara Boon caught screaming at boyfriend before his murder.
Next is a video starting with 3BV0C. Metadata shows date modified 12/29, 12:36 p.m. of 2019.
So you remember this. So you remember this. Are you drunk right now? How much alcohol did you drink? No. You're slurring your words. You're sleeping up against the door right now. Did I not tell you to not bother me? Yes, ma'am. So what is it you come up and do? What time is it right now? It's 1:20 a.m.
I haven't bothered you. I haven't bothered you since then. I just want to sleep.
But didn't I tell you before at 9:30 to not bother me at all?
Yes.
Because why?
Yeah, don't wait too long.
No. Because I've been up since 4 a.m. since yesterday when you fucked with me.
Yes, ma'am.
I know how much vodka was in that bottle. And what's the bottle now?
Kind of to throw it out.
What does that mean?
One more drink.
The bottle's empty. I know how much vodka was in there. Enough for 2 people to have a really good time. And who drank it? I want it to be documented that I'm leaving you, which means that you're getting out. You're getting out.
Oh,
You're getting out.
nobody's leaving nobody. Stop. I haven't done nothing.
And the reason why you were downstairs and weak enough to get drunk was because you don't give a shit about me. You don't listen to what I say. Special things that I keep on my front page of my phone, so I remember to tell you about it because of how special and fun it is. I always bother you. I always bore you. You don't listen to me. Yesterday was my first day at work, remember? And I ended up 90% hearing about your day and 10% about mine.
You don't bother me or anything. So sometimes you just you overwhelm me. That's the problem. You overwhelm me.
I told you about my first day at work.
No, dude, you just overwhelm me about every other thing. So it's not just, first day of work.
So I'm overwhelming you by telling you about the 4th highest paid baseball player. That's a client of ours.
I'm not starstruck.
I don't even know who the guy is.
I leave.
So the reason why, so you fully admit now that you didn't care and you did brush me off in the car. Midway sentence. Because you're not into baseball.
No, I mean, I have to say,
I want to go to sleep. Go downstairs.
I know.
I'm meeting you. And I'm going to try and cancel plane tickets.
No,
Because I don't do special things for people like you that are doing this like to me after I asked you at 1:21 in the morning. I wanted to be asleep. I wanted to stay asleep, which is why I got out of bed at 8:30. I told you not to step foot in the bedroom. So what do? Nonetheless, you're drunk. The amount of alcohol, I know how much was up. I know how much was there. That's why I could smell you in the bed before you actually got me up. I can smell you from here.
What a bitch.
You're despicable.
I'm not despicable. I'm not even doing anything.
Leave me alone.
Okay.
You're not gonna remember shit.
Okay, well, I'm not doing nothing right now.
Get away from me. Get away from me.
I'm not doing nothing to you.
You do everything to me all the time. All the time. Heartache and pain is what you cause me. Heartache and pain.
How's that?
Keep going. And I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. You get on your fucking own life and go to fucking work tomorrow. Don't look at me. Don't come close to me. Don't touch me. Do you understand?
What do you mean?
As of this moment, and until I can get you out, get the fuck out of
Hey.
here. I dare you. Yep, look at it. Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. I'm gonna scream bloody murder. I'm gonna scream bloody murder. I will scream bloody murder. Get away from me.
Nobody's doing anything.
I'm gonna fucking hurt you.
Nobody's doing anything. And you're filming it.
Let me go.
Nobody's doing anything.
I'm asking you, George, to get away from me. Please get away from me. Get away from me.
Yeah, I am. That was your function, dude. Malfunction. No, your malfunction is you, dude.
Okay, whatever you say. Whatever you say. Holy shit, the whole hallway just reeks of you up here. First it's shit, now it's alcohol. Don't step foot in this bedroom. I can't even breathe. Like, it's disgusting. Like, it's disgusting.
Keep filming with this stuff, right? Good night, Sarah. Love you.
I don't love you. I don't like you. I don't want to be with you.
We have a video here. You can see more of her abuse as it goes on. Let's see, second.
Not gonna have no Hindenburg situation, no Titanic situation, okay? So it's gonna be a good day. Yes, I'm missing my mustache right now. And later on, everything's gonna go off. Truth, facts. Truth and facts. All of this is gonna be messing later on. We'll take another video again later on when it happens. Love y'all when we're watching the video.
No, that's not approved.
The FDA says it's approved.
So it's gonna be a good day all day.
Yes, it is. Even when
All
I
day.
shave all of this
All
off.
day.
Yes. Even when I shave all of this
All
off.
day.
It's gonna be an amazing day.
It's what time right now?
It's your boing boing.
It's at 9:30. 7 o'clock maybe.
It's your boing boing. That's what we doing later on. It's your boing boing. You can stop filming now.
Not good enough.
It's gonna be a great day. Today's a great day to have a great day. Boom. Cut. Somebody come in with a. Can somebody come in with a. Can you not? Sirens. 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 Sirens and silence and silence. And this cop car.
How much you get an umbrella and probably Camille underneath it?
You know, how about we forget about that? No, we won't.
I'll never wait.
How about we keep going on? Alright, how about this? When beautiful Lucas is here, We don't listen to none of that. I don't want to hear sirens. It's just beep, 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 all that, yeah, whatever. I don't want to listen to that. It's every single day. Beeping and we hear enough of it out here in reality.
Are you gonna be nice tonight?
Yes. Yes. I promise you, I used to
Go for a walk.
by myself.
Yes.
No.
Go for a walk.
I'm just gonna chill out. If that's the case, I'll just chill out. So much, like,
Don't ever be a woman.
how can I be a woman?
Don't ever.
I can't. But I can, some will understand.
Don't ever.
I can, some will understand. Some will understand, I can, some will understand, yes, where you're coming from. But when you have a child, and it's like right now, this is too much. But we had a blast with them. Amazing.
Then you got out of sorts and pushed me, and he stole my phone and told Brent.
Why is it that I got out of sorts?
You pushed me.
I pushed it. I didn't push it. How do I get out of sorts all of a sudden? I don't want to hear it.
You drink too much and you're upset.
Thanks so much.
Go get your fuck card shit.
What are you talking about?
Your retard paper. Don't hit women.
Have I hit you? No. So what are you going with this?
I'm turning this off.
Tell me whatever else you have off. Okay. You can film me, take a picture, or whatever you want.
You're on my
I'm not doing.
Do I have to get a bus? No, I don't.
I'm not doing anything to you.
No, I never do.
I'm not doing anything to you, Sarah.
That's my name, don't wear it out.
Sarita. Not doing anything to you.
That's it. She's a real prize, isn't she? Real piece of fucking work. Wow. That's the gist of what they presented in court. Pretty explosive to my mind. Hopefully she'll never walk out of prison. They're still alive here. Okay. That's the gist of it for Sara Boon's ass. See what time it is again. Okay. I just had lunch. Feel better since I had something to eat. But in 15 minutes, court should resume. So, yeah. She treated Jorge like a dog. A literal dog. Saying, you can't come in here, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, and the sad thing is, George probably did love her. You know? This man probably did love her. But she never really loved him. So, yeah. If you want to see any of the videos that I shared on my little TV here, go to Law and Crime Network on YouTube. They have different channels like Law and Crime Trials, Law and Crime Body Cam. They have all kinds of stuff to deal with cases like this. You know, Sara is just a real piece of work. She's not a very good lady. She never has been, never will be. And she's dragging his family through the mud in the courtroom. You know, she dragged it out for 4 fucking years. And now the family's in the court. And, you know, it's just really sad. And the sad thing is, she kept saying in the interrogation, I've been trying to help him. I love him. I do. I bailed him out. I had him arrested. I had him bailed out. And look what happened. The abuse cycle continues. And when I put together a more cohesive video, I'll be sure to include those text messages. I'll let the people or the person that read them in court read them to you. And people are commenting, you know, and one says, crocodile tears. They were from Sara about Jorge. You know, and this plays like the George Floyd case. You know, he was another guy that died in a rather tragic circumstance when a cop sat on his knee and choked off the life-giving air that that young man needed. So, yeah. She just berated this guy, treated him like shit, and for some reason, maybe he was so beat down that he gave up. So we'll have to see. In less than 15 minutes, the court will be back in session. So be sure to go to Law and Crime Network for all the latest info on this case. I hear that they're going to start deliberating here about 1:30, so I think we're on verdict watch now, so yeah. People are asking, will Sara Boon cry if they give her life in prison? So, yeah, and then I was on Law and Crime earlier. Some were saying, freedom, free Sara. Sara's innocent. Bullshit. You know, she's just like Trump. She can't own up to her own mistakes. Only this wasn't a mistake. She blatantly and cold calculatedly left this guy in a fucking suitcase to die. Talk to you later, folks. I'll give you any updates as soon as I have them. I'm going to start working on a new video, so I'll talk to you later. Bye.